Hello.
Hello?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, John.
Mm. Hello, teacher.
Hello. Hello, Janet. Um, so thank you guys for being here. This is a grammar session. I'm trying to call Jenny. Please, let's try to give her just a minute to see if she arrives. Now, I'm gonna start explaining you guys
Hello,
a
good
bit.
afternoon.
Hello. Do
Hel-
you hear me?
Hello? Very low. I just put on my earphones thinking that it was my phone, but still.
Huh. Oh,
Oh, now it's better. Now it's better.
yeah, because I have here my monitor and it's showing that the levels are pretty good. But
Yes, thank you.
it's
It was
something with the
my fault.
network. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me try to call. Um, what's her name? No, she's not. She's not answering. Ah, Jenny. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to dial her, but that's okay. So let's start, guys. Um, so today we have prepared a grammar session, and this is an advanced session, as you always submit it, and it's gonna be about stated verbs. So let me share the screen for that. It's already sharing. All right. So stated verbs. Now for this specific topic, we need to have some knowledge requirements, and they are basically grammar requirements. Uh, so for this reason, I'd like to start with those requirements in the form of a warm-up. And these are going to be the present simple, and the present continuous. This is all we have to do for this lesson. So, um, John, can you please help me explaining me what is the simple present about? Present simple.
Um, Present simple is about routines.
Routines, very well. What else?
Um, it is actions
Mm-hmm.
that um, I don't know, teacher.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's the key word is routines. I like that word very much. Thank you, John. Now, Janet, can you please help me tell me what is present continuous and how can we use it or in what instances?
Okay, teacher. Present continuous, we use it to talk about things that we are doing at the moment of speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and also about things we are doing temporary, like for example having a course, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. Temporary things and things that we're doing in the moment of speaking.
That's right. Very well. So thank you for that. All right. So yeah, present simple is used for routines and John said actions, and that's very well said because we need to also describe the way actions work, and I'm gonna go with that in just a little bit. Also, present continuous. Yeah, it's very simple. We use it just to say things that are happening at that moment or at the moment we speak, and also to show temporary actions. Here there's also one last feature, and it's that we can use present continuous to talk about things that are about to happen. That means that are going to happen in a very short time. So we call that near future. Alright, so that's very good of you guys that you know that, because in the case of stative verbs, we basically talk about two features. One is going to be called generality, and the other one is going to be about specificity. So what is generality about? As John said, this is routines and repetition. For example, I can say skyscrapers are tall, and that's a generality. I'm saying something that is gonna be that way, it has been that way, and it stays that way. And for the case of specificity, this one was said by Janet, and we're specifying what's going on at the moment. So specificity is a feature, a grammar feature we use when we need to talk very particularly. Now, we also have some words that derive from these features, generality and specificity. In the case of generality, we have something called state, and I'm gonna mark it with a G because this is a grammar topic. So from this word state, we also have stationary, and from this stationary, well, first of all, stationary, what is stationary? Stationary is the opposite of action. And well, when we're learning English, we don't say stationary, we say inaction. So we can call this also inaction. And the ideal image for this is, imagine a car. So you have two states for the car. The car is either moving, which is an action, or the car is stopped, which is called stationary. So from this word stationary, hello Jenny, can you please mute your microphone? No, it's Janet. Janet, can you please mute your microphone? Thank you. All right. Yeah. So stationary, imagine that car is a still car. We also have a still. And from those words, we have the stative verbs. So you see the trend. State, stationary comes from repetition, routines, and generality. All of these relate to stative verbs. Now, we also have stative verbs is when we talk about verbs that are stationary. Right? Keep that in mind. Now, contrary to that, we have normal verbs that are happening at that moment. We call that normal verbs. So, normal verbs are quite simple to use, and I say simple not because of the knowledge that we have, but because they're more versatile when we have to use them. For example, I can use normal verbs in the infinitive. I can also use verbs that are in specificity. I use the ing, and this is for the case of present continuous, and that is the case of those verbs. So in the case of stationary verbs, when we're advanced users, it doesn't stay there. It's not a ponder. But when we reach let's say C1 level, we start to see that stative verbs can behave like normal verbs. So I'm gonna write it, behave like normal verbs. And well, there are a ton of verbs that behave this way, and it will be impossible to remember them all, but there's a good list, about 5 verbs that behave this way, and I'm gonna present that in just a little bit. So yeah, those are stative verbs. Now, moving on to the presentation, I have here the grammar explanation of those verbs that behave like normal verbs. So let me read you guys this. Stative verbs are state rather than action. They aren't usually used in the present continuous form. So I can say, I don't know the answer. If I say, I'm not knowing the answer, that's not correct. And this is really interesting also, because I'm not knowing the answer is grammatically possible, but it's not socially accepted. So this is what I was trying to say. When we get to those higher levels of grammar, we start to see that, well, yeah, most grammar works, but we need to keep in mind how it's socially interpreted. If it's right if I say this, if it's wrong, it sounds good, it doesn't sound very good, and that's what I was trying to say. Now, she likes you. That is very common to say, and this in contrast, she really liking you, she's really liking you. That doesn't work. It's not socially accepted again. He seems happy at the moment, and he's seeming happy at the moment. We cannot say that. Now, stative verbs, we can categorize them. I was talking about 5 categories. It's actually 4. So thoughts and opinions, feelings and emotions, senses and perceptions, and possession and measurement. So for the case of thoughts and opinions, we have verbs like agree, believe, doubt, guess, imagine, know, mean, recognize, remember, suspect, think, and understand. This is one of the most important here in this category. And I noticed that Indian people tend to use understand with the ing a lot. Like, I am understanding. So let's try to not do that. Feelings and emotions. So we have dislike, hate, like, love, prefer, want, and wish. Now, senses and perceptions. We have appear, be, feel, hear, look, see, seem, smell, and taste. Everything that we can sense. So with the 5 senses, that is. Possession and measurement. So belong, have, measure, own, possess, and weigh. This is the key idea of the lesson. So those verbs, the stative verbs, that behave like normal verbs. So a number of verbs can refer to states or actions depending on the context. So I can say, I think it's a good idea. I'm thinking in general terms. Now, wait a moment, I'm thinking. If I add this ing, I'm being very specific. I'm thinking, like I'm thinking something at that moment, or after you said something that was important. So the first sentence expresses an opinion. It is a mental state. This is also important because when we talk about states and being stationary, our ideas are also within the scope of the stationary. So we call that mental state. Okay, so we use present simple for that. In the second phrase, wait a moment, I'm thinking. The example, the speaker is actively processing thoughts about something. It is an action in progress. So we use present continuous. Some other examples are, so these are the most common words that we use that are mixed. The mixed verbs, we have, see, be, and taste. Let's see for the case of have. So have, I can say, I have an old card, possession. So that's why I use the present simple. I can also say, I'm having a quick break, action. So because I'm having an action rather than a state, remember this is inactivity, inaction, I can use the ing. So having, in this case, is telling me about the activity of resting. Having a break is an activity. Now for the case of see, do you see any problems with that? This sentence is a state or an opinion. I'm asking about an opinion. Whereas in this one, we're seeing Tadanari tomorrow afternoon. Again, action. And in this case, we're seeing this is socially used as an idiom to say that we're about to meet someone. So we're meeting him. Okay, for the case of B, he's so interesting, state, his permanent quality. That means he's always like that. He's not just being interesting for 1 minute. And also we have he's being very helpful, action. So he is temporarily behaving this way. We might be talking about a kid who's very obnoxious and he's never helpful, but that special occasion he was very helpful. So we use temporarily behaving this way. That's why we can use the ing. Taste. This coffee tastes delicious. So state, that's a quality of the coffee that I'm having. Or perception of the coffee. We can also see it as a mental state. Now, look, the chef is tasting the soup. Action, tasting the soup, is an activity. Alright, so of these verbs, the most important are have, see, be, and taste. But we also have verbs that behave both like a stative verb or a normal verb, and these are agree, appear, doubt, feel, guess, hear, imagine, look, measure, remember, smell, weigh, and wish. So try to remember that you don't have to repeat this. You're gonna get this with time of listening to videos, movies, reading the newspapers. You're gonna get that quite naturally. Is this type of lesson is not one where you can repeat 100 times and you're gonna get those. So let's move to the exercises. But before that, I'd like to ask you if you have questions about this.
Well, teacher, I don't have a question, but I would like to say if it's proper, appropriate to say that the states verbs can change when they have different meaning than the original, depending on the context.
I'm not sure I quite understand your question, but let's try to look it from the perspective of meaning. So
For
when we have,
example,
yeah, go ahead.
I was I forgot the word that I was. For example, is a state verb, and then when you say being a good boy is a temporary behavior. So in that case, because it changed a little bit the meaning, and then we can how you say conjugate con. Oh my God, I forgot. Like you can treat it like an action verb
Uh,
if it changed
for the
if
case
it
of
changed
be,
the meaning. Yeah, I mean that one and all the other verbs that you just present as.
okay.
I was listening to you, and then when you were explaining why those verbs were changing, what I could see is that the meanings changed in
Mm.
some way because of the context.
Yes, I understand now. Thank you for that. So, I am thinking about a better verb than be, and this is the case of see. So, see and seeing, they stay the same. They still represent the meaning of observing, but there are cases where this verb change meaning. In the stative form, I can say I see. Let's say I see ghosts. Whereas in the normal verb, if I say I'm seeing ghosts, here I'm probably talking about an appointment. Whereas here, I'm talking that I observe ghosts in a daily basis, on a regular basis. So yes, meaning can change in some stated versus normal, versus normal forms. So this was the case of see and seeing. But this is not dependent only on the structure, but depends a lot on the context. So meaning changes, meaning depending on the context. Normally, for the case of these verbs, no. For the case of have, see, be, taste, the changing meaning is not as radical as that example that I just gave you. The change is just in permanence of time. So here we have permanence of time stationary, still in action, and the other one is with ing, specifying that is happening at the moment. So the meaning is less perceptible. Is that clear for you, Janet?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
All
That's what I was talking about.
Nice. Yeah, it was a good observation. Now let's move to the exercises. Here we're probably gonna get more questions about this, and as you guys have it, please let me know. All right. Let's start with the first exercise. So that can be right. I blank you. I have don't believe and I'm not believing. So we can look this in the form of the grammar structure. Both of them are correct, but one is socially accepted and the other is not socially accepted. So Janet, which one would you think it is in this case?
I would say I don't believe you.
That can be right. I don't believe you. Very well. Yeah. So in the case of this one is because we're accustomed to hearing I don't believe you instead of I am not believing you. So very well. Now, my holidays next week. I blank myself on the beach right now. So I imagine myself on the beach right now, which will mean I always imagine myself on the beach right now. Repetition. I can also say I am imagining myself on the beach right now, which means at this exact moment I'm imagining myself on the beach. Now, John, which one do you think it is?
I think that's what is imagine.
All right. Well, in this case, it's I am imagining because I'm having the holiday next week. So when we're talking about the near future, we use specificity, and we need to specify that right now I'm imagining myself on the beach because I'm so eager to go to that trip. All right. If I say I'm imagining myself right now, I'm imagining myself on the beach right now, it's like saying I have always done that, and it doesn't make any difference if I have my holidays next week or not.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
All right. Thanks to you. I changed the design slightly. What blank do you think? So what do you think is like, what is your opinion? We have here that we can talk about opinions, yeah, thoughts and opinions, and use the stative verbs. Well, in this case of thoughts and opinions, stative verbs cannot be used in the form of normal verbs, so we cannot add ing. There you guys have a clue. So let's go with Jenny. Which one do you think is the answer here?
Teacher, for me, it's what are you thinking?
Okay, very well. So in this case, it's what do you think? Because when we're talking about opinions, right here, we can only use stative verbs. Stative verbs are those verbs that cannot be added with ing. Right? I changed the design slightly. What do you think?
Okay, teacher.
So I know it might be confusing for some of you right now, and this, as I was saying, you're gonna get this with time and with exposure to English. The more exposure you get, you're gonna get this very naturally. So here's, I've changed the design slightly. What do you think? In this case, it kind of sounds pretty. I've changed the design slightly. What do you think? Alright. She is not answering. Blank. Her phone with her? Does she have, and is she having? So we're talking about possession. Let's see what does it say about possession. Possession and measurement. Belong, have, measure, own, possess, and weigh. Those are the verbs that we have for possession. We're talking about specifically for have. Have, well, it is a stative verb, but we can also use it as a normal verb with the ing. So there I have a clue that either of these can be right, but there's only one correct option. So Jeanette, she's not answering, and which one will be the answer? Oh, I think we lost Jeanette. Let me try to call her again.
Janet left, teacher.
Yeah, I see that. But I can try to call her again. Dial. No. She might be offline. So let's continue. Okay. So that can't be right. I blank you. So I don't believe you. I'm not believing you. John, which one do you think it is here?
I don't believe you.
Very well. Yeah. So in this case, that can be right. I'm talking about the specificity, but as I'm talking with the verb believe, believe cannot be used with ing. So I don't believe you. Very well, John. Thank you for that. Also, my holidays next week. I blank myself on the beach right now. What? My holiday. We just done? It went back. So she's not. Okay. 53. Are you sure that's the answer or blank? And I hear, do you guess? Are you guessing? So, Jenny, can you please help me with this one?
Teacher, can you show the answer?
Yeah. So she's not answering.
Yeah, so she's not answering.
Does she have her phone with her?
Does she have a phone with her?
That's the answer. So
She's
yeah.
not.
So
go ahead.
Decent and
go ahead.
that she had.
That's right.
That's right.
That she had her phone with her. That she had it with.
Exactly.
You listen me?
Yes, I listen to you, but
You
it
hear
seems,
me, teacher?
it seems like we have a very big delay. So every time you finish, I'm gonna talk, and but I listen to you.
Okay.
But I listen.
Okay, teacher.
Nice. Very
The
well.
answer for me is that she had.
Very well. Okay, that's right. Thank you, Jenny. Let's move on. So, 53. Are you sure that's the answer, or do you guess, or are you guessing? We have here the verb guessing. So we have verbs like behave, stative, and normal verbs. Which one was the verb? Guessing. It must be here, right? Appear, agree, doubt, guess, hear, imagine, look, measure, smell. It's here. Guess. So stative verbs often relate to thoughts and opinions. This is a thought or an opinion. So John, 53, are you sure that's the answer, or which one do you think it is?
The answer is, or are you guessing?
Very well. Are you guessing? Because that's what's going on at the moment. We're talking maybe about an exam. I'm your teacher, and she just selected the 53. So it might not be the answer. I'm telling her, are you sure that's the answer, or are you guessing? So that's how we know that. Thanks, John. The film's on at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Which blank? Which blank? So we have, do you prefer? Are you preferring? This one is one of those answers we kinda guess by just guessing, and it sounds kind of pretty. So Jenny, please help me with this one.
Help me with it.
Teacher, which do you prefer?
Exactly. All right. So the film's on at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Which do you prefer? Very well. Thank you. Now, where's Granddad? Oh, he blanked the flowers in the garden. So right now I'm talking where's Granddad, specifying at the moment. We have a clue right there. He blanked the flowers in the garden. So he's doing that at the moment. John, which one do you think it is? Smelling or smells?
He's smelling the flowers in the garden.
Very well, because he's doing that at the moment.
Yes.
All right, John. So this is the final exercise. I don't know, but I blank. He'll win the election. So I had doubt, and I'm doubting. So doubting is related to opinions. Yeah, thoughts and opinions. So we know that we cannot put ing on opinions. So having said that, Jenny, which one do you think it is?
I don't know, but I am doubting he'll win the election.
Okay, that's a good attempt, but no, the correct answer is I doubt he'll win the election. So this one.
Yes, teacher. I doubt. Although I understand you.
Yeah, and the reason for this is because doubt is an opinion. So whenever we have an opinion about something, we can only use the present simple. All right, now is the time to close this lesson with a quick summary. All right, so summary. Now we have stative verbs. Oh my gosh. Okay. Stative verbs. These are verbs that remain stationary. We have verbs that behave this way because they cannot use the ing. So ing, we cannot use that with stative verbs. But on contrast, there are some stative verbs that, yeah, we allow that. We can do that. And that is the case of have. The other one was see. Which one was the other? Have, see, be, and taste. Be and taste. These are the group that say, yeah, we are stative verbs, but we can behave like normal verbs, so we can use ing. Now, we cannot use where we cannot use ing. Well, we cannot use ing when we talk about opinions, possession. Let me look at the other ones. Feelings and senses. Okay. Opinions, possession, feelings, or senses. And that's it for today, guys. I'm wondering if you have questions about this.
No, teacher, I don't.
Nice, John. All right. Well, in the case if you want to look at this lesson with more detail, I'm gonna make the YouTube recording, and as soon as I have it ready, I'm gonna share it here on the group chat. So, not being more, I appreciate your attention, guys, and your participation. I hope to see you guys in the next week. It's gonna be our final week. This is our 9th. The final one is gonna be next week. Okay?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
No problem. Take care, John. So, have a good day, Jenny, and take care.
Goodbye, teacher. Thank you for your orientation, your class.
My pleasure. Okay. Goodbye.
My pleasure. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.